I think you just got, that's what happens when Captain Jack hears noises. What a way to start Weedin Unleashed. It's okay, come here. What a way to start Weedin Unleashed with Captain Jack barking at the sound that my laptop just made. Well, live broadcast. What can you say? Now I got to get him to be quiet. Jack, come here. Come talk to everybody here. So hi, I'm Dan Weedin. Welcome to this edition of the Weedin Unleashed broadcast that comes out every Monday at noon Pacific time, 3 Eastern. Normally it's a much quieter opening than Captain Jack barking, but I forgot he hates these little electronic sounds, and so it is, he barked. So my apologies for that. He should be settling down here in a minute, and we can go on with our broadcast. First of all, again, we meet every Monday at this time. Our conversation usually goes about the topic that I chose for my extra points. If you're not getting extra points from me, you can go to my website at danweedin.com or email me at dan@danweedin.com, and I'm happy to add you, and you can get that every Monday in your inbox. Today is going to be a little bit different. My topic on extra points today was a Pearl Harbor remembrance. Today is December 7th, and it is the 74th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, a day that will live in infamy, according to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who addressed the country that evening after the attack. It was significant in my life, what I wrote, because my dad, who was 16 at the time, almost 17, decided to drop out of school and join the Navy and go fight in World War II because of those events. And I posited that I might not even be here had it not happened. You never know. But that's not my topic for today, because I want to talk about something that is a little bit more business conscious. I certainly want to give praise and honor to all of those who are still alive, and to those who gave their lives on December 7th, 1941. Yet I want to talk a little bit about business stuff with you today. And I'm going to use something that I did put in my extra points. It just happens to be the quote. And the quote came from Dr. Seuss, of all people. But I love this quote. And it goes like this. Dr. Seuss said that an adult is simply an obsolete child. Let me repeat that, because it bears repeating. An adult is simply an obsolete child. And I want you to think of this a little bit. December, a lot of times, is a time where we do some reflection. Reflect back to when you were a kid, and to kids that you know even today. There's 2 areas that I want to focus on today and get you to think about that kids do that adults no longer do, or at least don't do enough of. And that's why I think we are obsolete children, because we can get it back. Number 1 is fearlessness. Fearlessness. Think back to your grade school days, not junior high or high school, but your grade school days, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. Kids are fearless. They're willing to try anything. Certainly kids have different levels of boldness, of fear. But the reality is that I remember being a kid, and I've seen a lot of 2nd and 3rd graders, and they're pretty bold. They're willing to try anything. Most of the time, they're willing to say anything because they don't have a fear of consequences. They only know the results. And so just like Captain Jack would not stop at an open gate or let an invisible fence stop him, children are fearless. What happens to us? What makes us change as we move into adults? Is it those junior high years, those high school years? What changes it? Is it the pressure of being a young adult and getting into a job and worrying about that job and getting fired, or what are the consequences? Something along the way happens. I encourage you to take a look at what it is that you fear today. that you wouldn't fear if you were in 3rd grade. Fearlessness is a great thing. Now, certainly experience has taught us that we need to be prudent at times, right? Well, yes and no. Prudence is taking smart risks. Being overly prudent is taking no risks at all for fear of rejection, fear of failure. I talk about this in my book, Unleashed Leadership. If you have it, it's in the first couple of chapters. If you don't have it, you should pick it up. It's on my website or on Amazon. It's also on Kindle. But fearlessness is an important fact of childhood. There's one more that I'll talk about today. It also starts with an F, and that's fun. I'll never forget the fun of going to recess. Do you? Or would you? Do you remember going to recess as a kid and the fun that we all had? And we were always disappointed when recess was over. Kids play games. I played a lot of sports games, everything from baseball to basketball to football to kickball. People played games. They tried different things. Today, I hear that tag is being outlawed by some school districts because of fear of being pushed too hard. Heck, I remember not only tag, but playing touch football, where the teacher told you it had to be loud enough to hear in order to be tagged down. Regardless, kids love to have fun, and they play. How much do you play? It's not just simply having fun. It's about playing. I read a great article. I was on an airplane a few years ago. I remember reading the article a few years ago. I've not playing a lot. I remember reading an article a few years ago about fun. It was in a magazine that was for the airlines. And it was about the concept of psychological benefits of playing and how we as adults have lost that. I'm just as guilty sometimes. And so I need to try to remember that play is an important part of every day. I usually don't go more than about an hour and a half without changing my routine in a day. Relaxing, taking a break, going and playing with the dogs, doing something. But playing is good for the soul. It's good for the spirit. And it's something we should do more of. I don't see that we have any viewers here today. That's the reality. Or if I do, they're not popping up. Many of you come online and watch live. Many of you are watching this later, and I thank you for watching it whenever you are. If we do have people out there this time around, go ahead and shoot in any questions or comments. I'd be happy to have you chime in. I did have that earlier on. People had signed up. Maybe they're there and I just don't know it. But if you have any questions or comments, now is the time. You should have a place to ask questions. You can put your comments in there as well. But think of this as I try to put a capper on my thoughts. As you go into your life, as you strategize and as you think about your life, both from a personal and professional standpoint, think about fearlessness and think about fun. Think about your ability to be bold and think about your ability to play. There's where the balance is. That's where the life balance that so many people who I talk to who are craving it, who yearn for it, who want it badly, said, like to have better life balance. That's because you're lacking two things. You're fearful, you're anxious, and you're not taking enough risks, and you're not having enough fun. You're not finding time to play. If you can find a balance in there, if you can add both of those as resolutions starting today, not in January 1, but starting today, if you can add those as resolutions, as objectives, as goals for you to do every single day, then I guarantee you will not only boost and enhance your career, but you'll enrich your life as well. I don't see any questions or comments. I've gone on about 10 minutes. That's okay. Again, think about fearlessness. Think about having fun. Incorporate both of those into your professional and personal life. Remember, we just have one life, and you will be glad you did. I'll be back next week with another Weedin Unleashed. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Until next week, ciao.